Hello, and welcome to your yin practice. I'm Brad. I am a yoga teacher and a body worker, and I see people have pain in their body. And one of the things I believe that make us feel pain is the lack of our inflexibility, the way we sit all day, or the way we stand all day, or the things we do repetitively every day. So what I'm going to give you today is a way to move your body into stillness, what's called yin, which is one of my favorite ways to heal. It's what I really credit as a huge part of my healing and able to feel better. What I'm going to ask you to get as a prop is a bath towel. Right? And you're going to take that bath towel, you're going to take it lengthwise, like up and down, kind of roll it in half or however it needs to be, and then you're just going to take it and roll it like a burrito. Take it, roll it down, all the way down, and you're going to stick it to the side, right? And you're going to say, hey, Brad, I can't sit like you're sitting on your heels. I'm going to say no worries, because just a few years ago, really even about two, I couldn't either. And I've been practicing yoga. I started practicing yoga in about 2011. It's now 2020 as I'm filming this. We're in the midst of the coronavirus, thus the empty studio. Anyway, this video is for you, the inflexible person, the person that comes to me and says, like, Brad, I can't do this thing. And I'm like, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to relax, number one. I want you to think about your breathing. And I want you to really concentrate on letting go in your body. And that may make no sense today, and that's okay. What I want you to do is put this into your daily practice. I'm going to give you 12 minutes right here that, in my opinion, can free your body in a matter of weeks or months, or definitely over the next year or two. You'll feel a lot better. Just what I'm going to invite you into is to stay with this practice. Get up every morning, put your morning coffee on, go to the bathroom, get on your mat, get on the floor, get on your bed, wherever you need to practice. Get your props, yoga blocks. You can get them on Amazon for about 15 bucks each. Have you one or two of these? Great. Another thing to do is a pillow, right? Have a pillow on from your bed, or this is what's called a hugger mugger. It's a special yoga pillow or yoga prop. You can get one of those on Amazon. I don't know, they're probably 50 bucks or something. They're a little bit more expensive, but you know what? I believe you're worth it. So welcome to your practice. Let's get started. Here we go. So you get your blanket. We're going to start in child's pose. Take your blanket right behind the backs of your knees. So I'm on all fours, hands and knees. Right up against your knees. Sit your hips back. Take your pillow. Put it under your body. Put your knees a little bit wider than your pillow. Bring your body down onto your pillow. Right, this is a modified child's pose. If you know child's pose and you can go deeper than this, by all means, go for it. But I want you to use this pillow and that blanket behind your knees. You can also put a blanket underneath your knees. I didn't say that, but if your knees start to hurt right here, right now, just put a blanket under them. Or get on your bed. Double up your mats, whatever you need to do. And then we're just going to stay here on your blanket or on your pillow any way you need to practice. I'm going to remove these now and put them to the side, but you can stay with yours and come out of the pose for a breath or two if you need to. But mostly what we're going to use here is a little bit of silence. So I'm going to invite you to turn my sound off, put on your own little calming music if you like, or definitely opportunity to pray or meditate, whatever word you like to use. I'm going to ask you to take a big full breath in through your nose, a clearing breath out through your mouth. We're going to do that 2 more times. Take a big inhale through your nose, big belly breath. Open up your mouth and breathe out. Relax. Take one more big full breath in through your nose. And open up your mouth and let out a I'm just going to ask you to close your mouth and start to focus on breathing in on the count of about 4. So breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to ask you to pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to pause on the out breath with no breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, and then we're going to come up. We're going to change positions. So we're going to come into what's called hero's pose. You're going to keep your blanket or your towel or whatever you need underneath your knees, behind your knees. You can even it's a great place to put a pillow. I'm going to use this pillow, but if you got a bed pillow, that works great as well. Right behind you. Something you can sit on. Right, and I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Maybe take your fingertips to touch, your palms away from one another. Take your forearms to your thighs. Sit up nice and tall. Right, and then I'm going to ask you to go back into what's called that 4-part breath, or square breath. So you're breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, pausing for 1, 2, 3, 4, exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and pausing without breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that going. All right, if you are a little bit more flexible, you can move your pillow out of the way. You don't have to sit on a pillow or a block. Sit back on to your knees. Right, and then you can, if you would like, you can even start to lean back a little bit. You can put a block underneath you here. Some of you may be way more flexible than me and can lay on down. Wherever you go. But we're opening up the fronts of the legs. The hip flexors. Really the psoas and the iliacus. The rectus femoris, some of those muscles in the fronts of the legs that lift the legs as we gait or walk forward. there's our sound. I'm going to reset. Where we're moving to is what's called half pigeon. So if you know half pigeon, go right to half pigeon. If you don't, let me set that up for the inflexible person. For the more inflexible you are, we're going to come on our back. We're going to start on our back. Right, and so from here, you're going to take your legs, bend your knees. You're going to take your right foot over your left. It's a great place to put your blanket under your head. If your head's floating off the ground, if your chin's way back, take your pillow underneath your head. Bring your chin toward your chest. All right, and from here, you can stay right here. You can take your right hand over your right hip, right thigh, and just gently press that away. You should feel that right back here in your piriformis. Or you can even lift your legs off the floor, reach your right hand between your thighs, grab at your shin bone, pull it back. All right, if you have a wall, you can take your left foot up against the wall, stay right here, and if you had your foot up against the wall, you could just press your hand into your thigh. Let your eyes close, go back into your breath. So we're going to shift this breathing into what's called water breathing. So you're going to breathe in for about 4 seconds. You're going to breathe out for about 4 seconds. Not worrying about the holding or the square breath where we were holding 4 seconds in, pausing on the fullness and breathing out, and then pausing again for 4 seconds on the emptiness. Now, if you're a little more flexible, you want to take this into a more traditional half pigeon on the right side. You're just going to take your shin bone across your mat. You're like, okay, yeah. Take your block underneath your right hip, more or less squaring your hips toward the front, and then you can start to walk your hands down. You can take a block underneath your head. Stay right here. You're like, okay, yeah, Brad. And you can say maybe remove the block, bring a blanket under your forehead, or even the floor. There's our bell. So we're going to come up. All we're doing is switching sides. So kind of got the basics down for the way you want to do this. We're going to go to the left side, half pigeon. So again, if you're going to do it, if you're a little tighter, a little less flexible, I'm going to get you to just lay back. Very important, because we sit with ourselves at a computer a lot. Put something underneath your head, right? Bring your chin towards your chest so you're not looking back. You're looking more between your thighs. Take your left foot this time over your right thigh. You can hang out right here. This may be enough for some of you. Like, okay, like, yeah, I feel this in my, what's called my piriformis, or kind of like our glute area. Or if you want to take it somewhere, you can just start to press on your left thigh with your left hand, or you can lift your leg up, reach between, grab either the back of your right leg or the front of your knee. Explore. If your hips are off the floor, pull or press your hips down. Again, wiggle your chin toward your chest. Drop your shoulders. Drop your holding. Notice any place you're squeezing your muscles. Can you relax? Step 2, if you got this one down, you can come into a little bit different one. So it's a little more traditional, taking your left shin bone across, right? You may have a pillow to place underneath your left hip. You can do it like that, your pillow. Or a block. Whatever you need to support yourself. A blanket under your head, a block under your head. Lego. Where I want you to focus is on your breath. With every inhalation, you're filling up your entire body with air. With every exhalation, you're letting go of any holding, any protecting. Just breathing in and breathing out. There's our time. All right, and so right there, these 4 little poses may be enough for you today. Maybe that's like, okay, I'm going to be good. You can roll over on your back, take a little break, come into Shavasana. Or if you want to continue to practice, you're going to come into what's called Sphinx pose, right? So where I want you to be is with your legs straight. Up on your forearms, or maybe you're lower down here. Maybe it's just a little bitty lift of your chest, but we're trying to open up the front of the body. Once you're ready, you can put blocks under your arms. I didn't do this for about 2 years of practice, just FYI, but kind of wherever you feel comfortable. Your hips are on the ground. And you feel the stretch in the front of your body, not your low back, most importantly. So if you feel this in your low back, come down lower and stay lower. It's a great front body opener. Every breath in, you're breathing in all the way down to your feet. And you're breathing all the way out from your toes. Not in a hurry, not in a panic. That's where you can soften any place that you're protecting. And there's our gong. So it's time to move. Right here, we're just going to take a little movement break. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to do some cat-cows. So hands underneath the shoulders, you're on hands and knees. Again, you can put blankets under your knees. Just some spinal movements. Inhale, look up, drop the pit of the belly. Exhale, round, shoulders up to your ears. Press into the floor, squeeze your belly. And then inhale, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, look up. And exhale, round. One more big breath in, looking up. Exhale, round. So if you've been told you've got spinal stenosis or bulging disc, any of that business, just know that movement is a great, great thing. All right, okay, so now we're moving into prayer pose, or what I call fire toes. So you're going to get your toes, you're going to curl them under. You're going to have your two blocks, especially if you're new to this, it can be very intense. But you want to make sure your toes are curled under. And you may be looking more like this, where you're leaning down and your toes are just curled under, and that's okay. Right? You can have your blocks right here beside your hands. Put as much weight forward as you need to. You're working your way back, where you're sitting back on your heels. Letting your toes bend. Stretching out the bottoms of our feet. We have 26 bones per foot. We have 100 muscles, ligaments, and tendons per foot. There's a lot going on in our feet. I'm a really big believer in healthy feet, creating healthy arches, getting out of the supported shoes, the jogging shoes that were built back in the 70s that we still use today, that are really more like foot casts. So you think about a great built, I'm not going to say the brand names, but any of the brand name shoes that were meant for jogging, they're built and we really don't have to use our feet, right? A lot of doctors give you inserts or insoles, which actually, in my opinion, stop the use of your feet even more. Right? So motion's lotion, movement's medicine. Don't forget that. You either use it or you lose it. So I really believe that if we had needed some amazing jogging shoes, that God would have put us in those when we were born. He would have given us that preparedness that we needed. But He gave us the bodies that we have. And I believe that they can heal, and just getting those bones to move and getting those muscles back awakened can help your feet heal. No matter if you have bunions or hammer toes, claw toes, all those kind of things. Those too can be healed without surgery. I've seen it, I've worked on them. It's in my daily practice. Ah, saved by the bell. Okay, shake that out, move your toes around, whatever you need to do here. We're going to come into seated wide legs. So I'm going to sit down and say you're a typical guy or girl that maybe is not what you would consider yourself flexible. Take your block, your pillow, sit on it. So you're going to lift your booty, sit on your block. Take your feet wide. Maybe you have your hands behind you because you can't lean forward. You don't have that ability yet, and that's okay. You're taking your feet wide. Maybe your hands are behind you. Maybe you have to lean back. But trying to get your toes to turn up toward the ceiling, trying to get where you're leaning, where your hands are in front of you. You're leaning just a little bit forward. Don't have to go all the way to the ground. Any kind of support here you need. You can bend your knees. You can set, even you can put your blankets underneath your knees right here as you're sitting on your blocks. All right, so if you have a major bend in your knees, put that blanket under there. That's fine too, both of them. Just fully support, making this practice accessible. Notice how much you tighten, grip, squeeze, protect. Can you, with every inhale, breathe in and breathe out some relaxation, some tension. our bell. And then we're going to move into we're going to move right into actually yogi squat, right? So yogi squat, like what the heck? You can take your blanket, roll it, fold it, whatever you need to do, put it underneath your heels right here. So you can set your heels up on your towel or roll your mat up so your heels are a little bit elevated, make it a little bit more comfortable. You can also sit on a block, right? Sit on a block. Or you can also put your blocks underneath your hands and lean forward a little bit if you need to. Right, but find your way to set up that works, so that your heels aren't just up in the air. I don't want your heels up in the air like this, unsupported. I want your heels down on a blanket or a block or something in yogi squat or sitting on a block. The way they still sometimes eat or wait at bus stops in some third world countries where they still have some mobility, where they don't sit all day. So knowing that your body will open back up and it will release over time. And as it does begin to release, I really believe your pain will start to dissipate, because I think that a lot of joint pain, knee pain, hip pain, back pain are really all from our stuckness, from our underuse of moving. And even though this is a stillness practice, what it's doing is it's kind of ripping or tearing your fascia to release, to get you more mobile in your own body. I was a guy that said, no, I'm not flexible. I mean, I really could not touch my toes when I started this practice. So my knees hurt, my back hurt, my shoulder hurt. And I'm not going to say I'm without pain totally today, but I definitely don't have aches and pains for the most part. And my knees are 100% good. My shoulder's 100% good. I have a little bit of back and hip pain sometimes just from some posturing things I do, some sleeping patterns I have, but they're all better, and for that I'm grateful. Nice. And what we're going to do now is, if you've made it this far, I'm going to give you a seated meditation, a breathing exercise that you can do. So, set you up on 2 blocks. Now, you can also do looking back, you can do the second pose we did, which is called Hero's Pose, sitting on 2 blocks, right? So they're turned sideways. I'm sitting on my sit bones. You can do that. But we're going to do what's called alternate nostril breathing, right? So you're going to use your first 2 fingers, pointer finger, middle finger, right at the forehead center. You're going to use your thumb, which is going to cover my right nostril. My ring finger and my pinky finger are going to cover my left nostril. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to take a big breath in, open up in a big ha. First finger, pointer finger, and middle finger at my forehead center, covering up my left nostril, breathing in through my right nostril. Covering my right nostril, breathing out through my left. Back in through my left. Covering the left, breathing out through the right. Back in through the right. Covering the right, breathing out through the left. Back in through the left. And out through the right. Back into the right. And out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. One more round, into the right. Cover and out through the left. Back into the left. Cover and out through the right. And then release your hands. Take your fingertips to touch your palms away from one another. Just a way to stay connected. Let your eyes close. Back into normal breathing. Breathing in and breathing out through your nose. Just taking a moment for gratitude, what you're grateful for in your life. A special person, their smile, their touch. Or maybe for you it's that special place on this planet that gives you peace. And really my prayer for you is that you may bring healing from this practice to yourself. May you share this with others and a practice and the way you feel, the way you light them up when you walk into a room. And may you go out and do great things today. I say to you, may God bless and keep you. Have an amazing day. Namaste.